Hello, my name is Julian Lee from Crucible. I'm here to talk to you today and demonstrate the software, our core banking software, which is a real-time multi-denomination engine we are using to solve today's challenges and opportunities in financial markets. So I wanted to show you the engineering screens of Core. These are the screens that we use to configure and examine the underlying transactions at a very atomic level in the engine itself. It is in here that we execute this micro contract, which again is, to restate, is that relationship with customer, product and book. And we're recording in Core all the interactions that the engine has with those three vectors. I'm looking at James Sutherland, who is the customer I'm going to be taking through our journey in the demonstration. There are two views of this account. The request view, which is a list of all the interactions, both future and historic, that the engine has had with James Sutherland. And then the account view, which shows the current balance as an aggregate, as a view of all of those interactions in real time to this point. On the left hand side is a list of requests, and requests are the one and only way that we interact with the engine. Requests present themselves as services which a programmer can use to interact with the core, but it is the only way you can interact with the engine. And in fact, our front end, our engineering screens, use the same services to interact with the engine directly, and I'll show you some of those a bit later. In the requests panel, there are three types of requests. Denoted by the green are those requests that are going to happen in the future, those that are scheduled to happen. And then there are the blue and the orange. The blue represents financial transactions and the orange represents non-financial transactions, which reveals one of the core strengths of Core, is that we are recording and auditing every single transaction, both financial and non-financial, in the past, but also projecting forward, enabling us to produce a future view. And some people think of this as a timeline, which is very familiar to today's social network fabrics of Facebook and LinkedIn. But also is a very diligent and thorough audit trail or record of exactly what's gone on, in the same way that perhaps Apple's time machine enables you to interact with the past. At each point, as a request is executed, what we're doing is recording the state of the customer, product and book, that micro contract again, enabling us to recover the state of the world as it was exactly at that time, effectively a print of the world as it was at that time. And we think that has implications, good, strong implications for understanding the state of the bank and the state of their products and the state of the customer at that time and how they're interacting with each other. So I guess I wanted just to drill into some of the detail here. Here in this, for James Sutherland, we have a number of interactions, one of which is a cash withdrawal. And here, as I find the detail of this withdrawal, it reveals another core strength of Core, which is that every interaction executed via request, as I stated earlier, is recorded in both a source and a use ledger, revealing the double entry bookkeeping approach, this self-balancing approach of the engine as it runs at real time. In the account view of the same account, we can see that we have a big healthy balance here of £137,000, and all of the transactions that contribute to that particular balance interacted through the request are recorded here, so we can recover exactly how we got to this particular balance at any one time. And we like to think of Core as this universal source of truth, running real time, self-balancing, which we can change in a relatively agile way. So now I wanted to show you a web front end we developed against the Core request services, which I showed you earlier. In this example, we are going to be taking James Sutherland through an upgrade process, and this set of screens is represent a much more user-friendly way of interacting with the Core engine itself. So I'm looking at a list of customers and I'm going to find James. As I look into James's account, we are going to retrieve the data from Core itself, and here is a list of transactions which you would find in our engine and have been pushed up to the front end. And I want to draw your attention to a regular payment he makes of £100 a month, which is a utility payment for gas, electricity and water, and I'm going to use that transaction as an example as I go through the upgrade. James also has a mortgage which he makes regular payments on, and I guess that begins to touch on the flexibility, the extensibility of the engine to cover any type of product and any type of denomination, and I'll come back to that later on. So to upgrade James from where he is today, which is an ordinary current account, I invoke this calculator, this cashback calculator which we've created, and the data that is here comes directly from Core. So there is our £100 gas, electricity and water, and there's our £700 of mortgage repayments brought forward from the underlying Core engine. And this calculator is picking up the data from Core, so we're relying on the accuracy and the timeliness of that data to drive this decisioning point. And in fact, this calculator will record all the decisions we made, ensuring that if we were to recover why this particular customer made this decision, we've got the basis for that decision making. Core is also providing us with only customers who are eligible for this cashback approach, who are eligible for this upgrade. And again, to reinforce this point about this micro contract, it really is ensuring that each parts of that micro contract, customer, product and book, are working together to ensure we are doing the right thing by the customer and using the right data to drive decision-making process. So I'm going to play with this calculator, simulating a different amount of money going through the account. And having done that, I can then save this. Again, to repeat, this will be saved for me to recover in the future. And the account will now upgrade automatically from the previous standard current account to a loyalty current account cashback, and I can see that here now. It's important to note that what has happened here is we haven't closed an account or opened an account or gone through a rather more traditional operation of moving a customer. We've simply changed the features associated with this particular account for this particular customer. And that's another key strength of Core, is that we really see features or product as a set of features, as opposed to them being hard-coded or manipulated or hard to manipulate in the system itself. Here are all my transactions against my loyalty current account that I've come across. And the other thing which has happened, which is important, is that because I've now moved to a loyalty current account, I've revealed all these bolt-ons and vouchers which I wasn't eligible before. Because I'm now in a current account or cashback account, I'm now eligible for these different products and bolt-ons. And in this example, for James, I've got bicycle insurance and airport lounge access and travel insurance as examples. And I could accept or reject those offers as I wanted to. Before I leave this screen, I wanted to show you another account, Philip Richardson, and I wanted to show the flexibility of Core by explaining that Philip Richardson has not only a current account, but also has two different cash management accounts. One's in one's in dollars and one's in euros. But he also has a pension account. That is, we're holding in Core not only cash in multiple denominations or currencies, but also we're holding units, bottles of wine, or anything which we can price and value can be stored in Core alongside a particular account. So Core is not only a bank account engine, it's also a wealth and any other unit of value engine, which is very extensible. And we think that's exactly what this digital marketplace needs today. So back in the Core engineering screens, I wanted to show you the effect of that upgrade, the effect of those transactions in the engine itself. So as I find James Sutherland again, one of the requests that has fired, if you remember, not only do we record financial but non-financial transactions, you can see here that we have changed our account type to this loyalty current account cashback. So now from this point onwards, immediately James Sutherland begins to accrue cashback into his cashback account from this point onwards. And to simulate that, I want to pretend as if James is going to go and buy a cup of coffee. From the action screen in the top left of the system, here's a list of all of the requests, all of the activities that I'm eligible for as James Sutherland in this particular account and me as a user. And I'm going to go for a cash withdrawal, which is a simulation of me buying something. These screens are generated automatically by the services. So one of the other key benefits or powers of Core is that as I add a request, as I configure rules, as I build product, the screens in the engineering space are delivered to me automatically. They are built automatically for me to interact with the system, which means that maintenance and transactional screens are generated for me naturally. In this instance, as I would want to withdraw cash, I'm going to select a debit method, which is a debit card, contactless. I'm going to go and buy myself some coffee from Cafe Nero, and I'm going to choose the account from which I'm going to draw my money. In this instance, it's this loyalty current account cashback. I'm going to spend £13.45, and then apply that to the account. And as I do that, Core updates real time, and I can show you that request is fired here. Here is my cash withdrawal of £13.45. And I've also credited a loyalty cashback because the rules associated with this account now mean that anything which is under a certain value with a selection of retailers incurs a deposit into my cashback account. And here I've deposited 13p, again to restate. That has a source ledger and a use ledger. Every single interaction in Core has a ledger-based approach, double entry bookkeeping, which is we think of as self-balancing. And in this instance, here's my 13p. Now what I can do to prove the point, to prove this micro contract is operating, is pivot from this transaction of 13p up to a bank view. And the engine will take us now round that dial, round that the three-cornered hat, up to a bank view. And as I look at the screen, I can show you that across this bank, the number of loyalty points, the amount of cash that has been generated in total across the bank, and here they all are, all these interactions, all these different transactions and withdrawals coming together, is £1,916.50. And so that, I think, proves the point that we are collecting data at an extremely low level, but we're able to view the bank through these different dimensions, ensuring that we are complying, we are presenting the truth constantly, and accepting and taking all of the transactions into account for a full audit at any one time. So thank you for watching this demonstration and listening to the presentation of Crucible Core. We think this provides transformational benefits to the bank, and particularly in three different areas. So hopefully you've seen in the Crucible Core engine the three transformational benefits that we feel we can offer the bank. The first is around cost structure and the ability to change your cost-income ratios. The second is around product leadership, the ability to launch and service new products more easily in shorter time frames to service your customers in a better way. And thirdly is about the ability of Core to handle and deliver against regulatory requirements both now and in the future, because you're recording all of the information around transactions, product, customers and the records in the book constantly and persistently. The audit trail that is being delivered to reporting and the regulatory needs is dramatically different and improved. Thank you very much for listening.